The Complete Works of William Shakespeare by William Shakespeare. Act 3. Scene I. The Abbey at Bury St. Edmunds. Sound a Senate. Enter the King, the Queen, Cardinal, Suffolk, York, Buckingham, Salisbury, and Warwick, to the Parliament. King Henry. I muse my Lord of Gloucester is not come. 'Tis not his wont to be the hindmost man, whatever occasion keeps him from us now. Queen. Can you not see, or will you not observe the strangeness of his altered countenance? With what a majesty he bears himself, how insolent of late he is become, how proud, how peremptory, and unlike himself. We know the time since he was mild and affable, and if we did but glance a far-off look immediately he was upon his knee, that all the court admired him for submission. But meet him now, and be it in the morn, when every one will give the time of day, he knits his brow and shows an angry eye and passeth by with stiff unbowed knee, disdaining duty that to us belongs. Small curs are not regarded when they grin, but great men tremble when the lion roars, and Humphrey is no little man in England. First note that he is near you in descent, and should you fall he is the next will mount. Meseemeth, then, it is no policy respecting what a rancorous mind he bears, and his advantage following your decease that he should come about your royal person or be admitted to your highness' council. By flattery hath he won the commons' hearts, and when he pleased to make commotion, 'tis to be feared they all will follow him. Now 'tis the spring, and weeds are shallow-rooted, suffer them now, and they'll o'ergrow the garden and choke the herbs for want of husbandry. The reverent care I bear unto my lord made me collect these dangers in the Duke. If it be fond, ken it a woman's fear, which fear if better reasons can supplant, I will subscribe, and say I wronged the Duke. My Lord of Suffolk, Buckingham, and York, reprove my allegation if you can, or else conclude my words effectual. Suffolk. Well hath your highness seen into this Duke, and had I first been put to speak my mind, I think I should have told your grace's tale. The Duchess, by his subornation, upon my life, began her devilish practices, or if he were not privy to those faults, yet by reputing of his high descent as next the king he was successive heir and such high vaunts of his nobility, did instigate the bedlam brainsick Duchess by wicked means to frame our sovereign's fall. Smooth runs the water where the brook is deep, and in his simple show he harbours treason. The fox barks not when he would steal the lamb. No, no, my sovereign, Gloucester is a man unsound yet, and full of deep deceit. Cardinal. Did he not, contrary to form of law, devise strange deaths for small offences done? York. And did he not, in his protectorship, levy great sums of money through the realm for soldiers' pay in France, and never send it? By means whereof the towns each day revolted. Buckingham. Tut, these are petty faults to faults unknown which time will bring to light and smooth Duke Humphrey. King Henry. My lords, at once, the care you have of us, to mow down thorns that would annoy our foot, is worthy praise. But shall I speak my conscience? Our kinsman Gloucester is as innocent from meaning treason to our royal person as is the sucking lamb or harmless dove. The Duke is virtuous, mild, and too well given to dream on evil, or to work my downfall. Queen. Ah, what's more dangerous than this fond affiance? Seems he a dove? His feathers are but borrowed, for he's disposed as the hateful raven. Is he a lamb? His skin is surely lent him, for he's inclined as is the ravenous wolf. Who cannot steal a shape that means deceit? Take heed, my lord, the welfare of us all hangs on the cutting short that fraudful man. Enter Somerset. All health unto my gracious sovereign. King Henry. Welcome, Lord Somerset. What news from France? Somerset. That all your interest in those territories is utterly bereft you, all is lost. King Henry. Cold news, Lord Somerset, but God's will be done. York. Aside, cold news for me, for I had hope of France as firmly as I hope for fertile England. Thus are my blossoms blasted in the bud, and caterpillars eat my leaves away. But I will remedy this gear ere long, or sell my title for a glorious grave. Enter Gloucester. Gloucester. All happiness unto my lord the king! Pardon, my liege, that I have stayed so long. Suffolk. Nay, Gloucester, know that thou art come too soon, unless thou wert more loyal than thou art. I do arrest thee of high treason here. Gloucester. Well, Suffolk, thou shalt not see me blush nor change my countenance for this arrest. A heart unspotted is not easily daunted. The purest spring is not so free from mud as I am clear from treason to my sovereign. Who can accuse me? Wherein am I guilty? York. 'Tis thought, my lord, that you took bribes of France and, being protector, stayed the soldiers' pay, by means whereof his highness hath lost France. Gloucester. Is it but thought so? What are they that think it? I never robbed the soldiers of their pay, nor ever had 1 penny bribe from Fra. N.C. So help me God, as I have watched the night by night, in studying good for England. That doit that ere I wrested from the king, or any groat I hoarded to my use, be brought against me at my trial day. No, many a pound of mine own proper store, because I would not tax the needy commons, have I dispersed to the garrisons, and never asked for restitution. Cardinal. It serves you well, my lord, to say so much. Gloucester. I say no more than truth, so help me God. York. In your protectorship you did devise strange tortures for offenders, never heard of, that England was defamed by tyranny. Gloucester. Why, 'tis well known that whiles I was protector pity was all the fault that was in me, for I should melt at an offender's tears, and lowly words were ransom for their fault. Unless it were a bloody murderer, or foul felonious thief that fleeked poor passengers, I never gave them condign punishment. Murder indeed, that bloody sin, I tortured above the felon or what trespass else. Suffolk. My lord, these faults are easy, quickly answered, but mightier crimes are laid unto your charge, whereof you cannot easily purge yourself. I do arrest you in his highness' name, and here commit you to my lord cardinal to keep until your further time of trial. King Henry. My lord of Gloucester, 'tis my special hope that you will clear yourself from all suspense. My conscience tells me you are innocent. Gloucester. Ah, gracious lord, these days are dangerous. Virtue is chocked with foul ambition, and charity chased hence by rancor's hand. False subornation is predominant, and equity exiled your highness' land. I know their complot is to have my life, and if my death might make this island happy and prove the period of their tyranny, I would expend it with all willingness. But mine is made the prologue to their play, for thousands more that yet suspect no peril will not conclude their plotted tragedy. Beaufort's red sparkling eyes blab his heart's malice, and Suffolk's cloudy brow his stormy hate. Sharp Buckingham unburdens with his tongue the envious load that lies upon his heart, and dogged York, that reaches at the moon, whose overweening arm I have plucked back, by false accused doth level at my life. And you, my sovereign lady, with the rest, causeless have laid disgraces on my head, and with your best endeavour have stirred up my leafest liege to be mine enemy. I, all of you have laid your heads together, myself had notice of your conventicles and all to make away my guiltless life. I shall not want false witness to condemn me, nor store of treasons to augment my guilt. The ancient proverb will be well affected, a staff is quickly found to beat a dog. Cardinal. My liege, his railing is intolerable. If those that care to keep your royal person from treason's secret knife and traitor's rage be thus upbraided, chid, and rated at, and the offender granted scope of speech, 'twill make them cool in zeal unto your grace. Suffolk. Hath he not twit our sovereign lady here with ignominious words, though clerkly couched, as if she had suborned some to swear false allegations to o'erthrow his state? Queen. But I can give the loser leave to chide. Gloucester. Far truer spoke than meant, I lose indeed. Beshrew the winners, for they played me false. And well such losers may have leave to speak. Buckingham. He'll rest the sense, and hold us here all day. Lord Cardinal, he is your prisoner. Cardinal. Sirs, take away the Duke and guard him sure. Gloucester. Ah, thus King Henry throws away his crutch before his legs be firm to bear his body. Thus is the shepherd beaten from thy side, and wolves are gnarling who shall gnaw thee first. Ah, that my fear were false! Ah, that it were! For, good King Henry, thy decay I fear. Exit, guarded King Henry. My lords, what to your wisdom seemeth best do or undo, as if ourself were here. Queen. What, will your highness leave the Parliament? King Henry. Ay, Margaret, my heart is drowned with grief, whose flood begins to flow within mine eyes, my body round and girt with misery for what's more miserable than discontent. Ah, Uncle Humphrey, in thy face I see the map of honor, truth, and loyalty. And yet, good Humphrey, is the hour to come that ere I proved thee false or feared thy faith? What lowering star now envies thy estate that these great lords, and Margaret our queen, do seek subversion of thy harmless life? Thou never didst them wrong, nor no man wrong, and as the butcher takes away the calf, and binds the wretch, and beats it when it strays, bearing it to the bloody slaughter-house, even so, remorseless, have they borne him hence, and as the dam runs lowing up and down, looking the way her harmless young one went, and can do naught but wail her darling's loss, even so myself bewails good Gloucester's case with sad unhelpful tears, and with dimmed eyes look after him, and cannot do him good, so mighty are his vowed enemies. His fortunes I will weep, and twixt each groan say who's A.T. Raider? Gloucester he is none. Exit Queen. Free lords, cold snow melts with the sun's hot beams. Henry my lord is cold in great affairs, too full of foolish pity, and Gloucester's show beguiles him as the mournful crocodile with sorrow snares relenting passengers, or as the snake, rolled in a flowing bank, with shining checkered slough, doth sting a child that for the beauty thinks it excellent. Believe me, lords, were none more wise than I, and yet herein I judge mine own wit good this Gloucester should be quickly rid the world to rid us from the fear we have of him. Cardinal. That he should die is worthy policy, but yet we want a colour for his death. 'Tis meet he be condemned by course of law. Suffolk. But in my mind that were no policy. The king will labour still to save his life, the commons haply rise to save his life, and yet we have but trivial argument, more than mistrust, that shows him worthy death. York. So that, by this, you would not have him die. Suffolk. Ah, York, no man alive so fain as I. York. 'Tis York that hath more reason for his death. But, my lord Cardinal, and you, my lord of Suffolk, say as you think, and speak it from your souls, were it not all one an empty eagle were set to guard the chicken from a hungry kite as placed Duke Humphrey for the king's protector? Queen. So the poor chicken should be sure of death. Suffolk. Madam, 'tis true, and were it not madness then to make the fox surveyor of the fold? Who being accused a crafty murderer, his guilt should be but idly posted over, because his purpose is not executed. No, let him die, in that he is a fox, by nature proved an enemy to the flock, before his chaps be stained with crimson blood, as Humphrey, proved by reasons, to my liege. And do not stand on quillets how to slay him, be it by gins, by snares, by subtlety, sleeping or waking, 'tis no matter how, so he be dead, for that is good deceit which mates him first that first intends deceit. Queen. Thrice noble Suffolk, 'tis resolutely spoke. Suffolk. Not resolute, except so much were done, for things are often spoke and seldom meant, but that my heart accordeth with my tongue, seeing the deed is meritorious, and to preserve my sovereign from his foe, say but the word, and I will be his priest. Cardinal. But I would have him dead, my lord of Suffolk, ere you can take due orders for a priest. Say you consent and censure well the deed, and I'll provide his executioner I tender so the safety of my liege. Suffolk. Here is my hand the deed is worthy doing. Queen. And so say I. York. And I. And now we three have spoke it, it skills not greatly who impugns our doom. Enter a post. Great lords, from Ireland am I come amain to signify that rebels there are up and put the Englishmen unto the sword. Send succours, lords, and stop the rage betime, before the wound do grow uncurable, for, being green, there is great hope of help. Cardinal. A breach that craves a quick expedient stop. What counsel give you in this weighty cause? York. That Somerset be sent as regent thither. 'Tis meet that lucky ruler be employed. Witness the fortune he hath had in France. Somerset. If York, with all his far-fet policy, had been the regent there instead of me, he never would have stayed in France so long. York. No, not to lose it all as thou hast done. I rather would have lost my life betimes than bring a burden of dishonour home by staying there so long till all were lost. Show me one scar charactered on thy skin, men's flesh preserved so whole do seldom win. Queen. Nay then, this spark will prove a raging fire, if wind and fuel be brought to feed it with. No more, good York, sweet Somerset, be still. Thy fortune, York, hadst thou been regent there, might happily have proved far worse than his. York. What, worse than not? Nay, then a shame take all. Somerset. And in the number, thee that wishes shame. Cardinal. My Lord of York, try what your fortune is. Uncivil kerns of Ireland are in arms and temper clay with blood of Englishmen. To Ireland will you lead a band of men, collected choicely, from each county some, and try your hap against the Irishmen? York. I will, my lord, so please his majesty. Suffolk. Why, our authority is his consent, and what we do establish he confirms. Then, noble York, take thou this task in hand. York. I am content, provide me soldiers, lords, whiles I take order for mine own affairs. Suffolk. A charge, Lord York, that I will see performed. But now return we to the false Duke Humphrey. Cardinal. No more of him, for I will deal with him that henceforth he shall trouble us no more. And so break off, the day is almost spent. Lord Suffolk, you and I must talk of that event. York. My Lord of Suffolk, within 14 days at Bristol I expect my soldiers, for there I'll ship them all for Ireland. Suffolk. I'll see it truly done, my Lord of York. Excellent all but York. Now York or never, steel thy fearful thoughts and change misdoubt to resolution, be that thou hopst to be, or what thou art resigned to death it is not worth enjoying. Let pale-faced fear keep with the mean-born man and find no harbour in a royal heart. Faster than springtime shore us comes thought on thought, and not a thought but thinks on dignity. My brain, more busy than the labouring spider, weaves tedious snares to trap mine enemies. Well, nobles, well, 'tis politically done to send me packing with an host of men. I fear me you but warm the starved snake, who, cherished in your breasts, will sting your hearts. 'Twas men I lacked, and you will give them me, I take it kindly. Yet be well assured you put sharp weapons in a madman's hands. Whiles I in Ireland nourish a mighty band, I will stir up in England some black storm shall blow 10,000 souls to heaven or hell, and this fell tempest shall not cease to rage until the golden circuit on my head, like to the glorious sun's transparent beams, do calm the fury of this mad-bred flaw. And for a minister of my intent I have seduct a headstrong Kentishman, John Cade of Ashford, to make commotion, as full well he can, under the tide of John Mortimer. In Ireland have I seen this stubborn Cade oppose himself against a troop of kerns, and fought so long tiff that his thighs with darts were almost like a sharp-quilled porpentine, and in the end being rescued, I have seen him caper upright like a wild Morisco, shaking the bloody darts as he his bells. Full often, like a shag-haired crafty kern, hath he conversed with the enemy, and undiscovered come to me again and given me notice of their villainies. This devil here shall be my substitute, for that John Mortimer, which now is dead, in face, in gait, in speech, he doth resemble. By this I shall perceive the Commons' mind, how they affect the house and claim of York. Say he be taken, racked, and tortured. I know no pain they can inflict upon him will make him say I am oved him to those arms. Say that he thrive, as 'tis great like he will, why then from Ireland come I with my strength, and reap the harvest which that rascal sowed, for Humphrey being dead, as he shall be, and Henry put apart, the next for me. Exit Scene 2. Barry St. Edmunds. A room of state enter 2 or 3 murderers running over the stage, from the murder of Duke Humphrey first murderer. Run to my Lord of Suffolk, let him know we have dispatched the Duke, as he commanded. Second murderer. Oh that it were to do! What have we done? Didst ever hear a man so penitent? Enter Suffolk first murderer. Here comes my lord. Suffolk. Now, sirs, have you dispatched this thing? First murderer. Aye, my good lord, he's dead. Suffolk. Why, that's well said. Go, get you to my house. I will reward you for this venturous deed. The king and all the peers are here at hand. Have you laid fair the bed? Is all things well, according as I gave directions? First murderer. 'Tis, my good lord. Suffolk. Away! Begone! Exeunt murderers sound trumpets. Enter the king, the queen, Cardinal, Somerset, with attendants King Henry. Go call our uncle to our presence straight. Say we intend to try his grace today, if he be guilty, as 'tis published. Suffolk. I'll call him presently, my noble lord. Exit King Henry. Lords, take your places, and I pray you all, proceed no straighter gainst our uncle Gloucester than from true evidence, of good esteem, he be approved in practice culpable. Queen. God forbid any malice should prevail that faultless may condemn a nobleman. Pray God he may acquit him of suspicion. King Henry. I thank thee, Meg, these words content me much. Re-enter Suffolk. How now? Why look'st thou pale? Why tremblest thou? Where is our uncle? What's the matter, Suffolk? Suffolk. Dead in his bed, my lord, Gloucester is dead. Queen. Mary, God forfend. Cardinal. God's secret judgment. I did dream tonight the Duke was dumb, and could not speak a word. The king swoons. Queen. How fares my lord? Help, lords! The king is dead. Somerset. Rear up his body, wring him by the nose. Queen. Run, go, help, help! O Henry, ope thine eyes. Suffolk. He doth revive again, madam, be patient. King. O heavenly God! Queen. How fares my gracious lord? Suffolk. Comfort, my sovereign! Gracious Henry, comfort. King Henry. What, doth my lord of Suffolk comfort me? Came he right now to sing a raven's note, whose dismal tune bereft my vital powers, and thinks he that the chirping of a wren, by crying comfort from a hollow breast, can chase away the first conceived sound? Hide not thy poison with such sugred words, lay not thy hands on me, forbear, I say, their touch affrights me as a serpent's sting. Thou baleful messenger, out of my sight! Upon thy eyeballs murderous tyranny sits in grim majesty to fright the world. Look not upon me, for thine eyes are wounding, yet do not go away. Come, basilisk, and kill the innocent gazer with thy sight, for in the shade of death I shall find joy in life but double death, now Gloucester's dead. Queen. Why do you rate my lord of Suffolk thus? Although the Duke was enemy to him, yet he most Christian-like laments his death, and for myself foe as he was to me might liquid tears, or heart-offending groans, or blood-consuming sighs, recall his life, I would be blind with weeping, sick with groans, look pale as primrose with blood-drinking sighs, and all to have the noble Duke alive. What know I how the world may deem of me? For it is known we were but hollow friends, it may be judged I made the Duke away, so shall my name with slander's tongue be wounded, and princes' courts be filled with my reproach. This get I by his death. I me, unhappy! To be a queen and crowned with infamy. King Henry. Ah, woe is me for Gloucester, wretched man! Queen, be woe for me, more wretched than he is. What, dost thou turn away, and hide thy face? I am no loathsome leper, look on me. What, art thou like the adder waxen deaf? Be poisonous too, and kill thy forlorn queen. Is all thy comfort shut in Gloucester's tomb? Why, then Dame Margaret was ne'er thy joy. Erect his statue and worship it, and make my image but an alehouse sign. Was I for this nigh wrecked upon the sea, and twice by awkward wind from England's bank drove back again unto my native clime? What boded this but well forewarning wind did seem to say, seek not a scorpion's nest, nor set no footing on this unkind shore? What did I then but curse the gentle gusts, and he that loosed them forth their brazen caves, and bid them blow towards England's blest shore, or turn our stern upon a dreadful rock? Yet Aeolus would not be a murderer, but left that hateful office unto thee. The pretty vaulting sea reefest to drown me, knowing that thou wouldst have me drowned on shore with tears as salt as sea through thy unkindness. The splitting rocks cowered thee in the sinking sands and would not dash me with their ragged sides, because thy flinty heart, more hard than they, might in thy palace perish, Margaret. As far as I could ken thy chalky cliffs, when from thy shore the tempest beat us back, I stood upon the hatches in the storm, and when the dusky sky began to rob my earnest gaping sight of thy land's view, I took a costly jewel from my neck, a heart it was, bound in with diamonds, and threw it towards thy land. The sea received it, and so I wished thy body might my heart. And even with this I lost fair England's view, and bid mine eyes be packing with my heart, and called them blind and dusky spectacles for losing ken of Albion's wished coast. How often have I tempted Suffolk's tongue, the agent of thy foul inconstancy, to sit, and witch me, as Ascanius did when he to madding Dido would unfold his father's axe commenced in burning Troy. Am I not witched like her? Or thou not false like him? Ay me, I can no more. Die, Margaret, for Henry weeps that thou dost live so long. Noise within. Enter Warwick, Salisbury, and many commons. Warwick. It is reported, mighty sovereign, that good Duke Humphrey traitorously is murdered by Suffolk and the Cardinal Beaufort's means. The commons, like an angry hive of bees that want their leader, scatter up and down and care not who they sting in his revenge. Myself have calmed their spleenful mutiny until they hear the order of his death. King Henry. That he is dead, good Warwick, 'tis too true, but how he died God knows, not Henry. Enter his chamber, view his breathless corpse, and comment then upon his sudden death. Warwick. That shall I do, my liege. Stay, Salisbury, with the rude multitude till I return. Exit Salisbury with the commons. King Henry. O thou that judgest all things, stay my thoughts that labour to persuade my soul some violent hands were laid on Humphrey's life. If my suspect be false, forgive me, God, for judgment only doth belong to thee. Fain would I go to chafe his poly lips with 20,000 kisses, and to drain upon his face an ocean of salt tears, to tell my love unto his dumb deaf trunk, and with my fingers feel his hand unfeeling. But all in vain are these mean obsequies, and to survey his dead and earthy image, what were it but to make my sorrow greater? Bed put forth with the body. Enter Warwick. Warwick. Come hither, gracious sovereign, view this body. King Henry. That is to see how deep my grave is made, for with his soul fled all my worldly solace, for, seeing him, I see my life in death. Warwick. As surely as my soul intends to live with that dread king that took our state upon him to free us from his father's wrathful curse, I do believe that violent hands were laid upon the life of this thrice-famed duke. Suffolk. A dreadful oath, sworn with a solemn tongue. What instance gives Lord Warwick for his vow? Warwick. See how the blood is settled in his face. Oft have I seen a timely parted ghost, of ashy semblance, meagre, pale, and bloodless, being all descended to the labouring heart, who, in the conflict that it holds with death, attracts the same for aidance gainst the enemy, which with the heart there cools, and ne'er returneth to blush and beautify. the cheek again. But see, his face is black and full of blood, his eyeballs further out than when he lived, staring full ghastly like a strangled man, his hair upreared, his nostrils stretched with struggling, his hands abroad displayed, as one that grasped and tugged for life, and was by strength subdued. Look, on the sheets his hair, you see, is sticking, his well-proportioned beard made rough and rugged, like to the summer's corn by tempest lodged. It cannot be but he was murdered here, the least of all these signs were probable. Suffolk. Why, Warwick, who should do the Duke to death? Myself and Beaufort had him in protection, and we, I hope, sir, are no murderers. Warwick. But both of you were vowed Duke Humphrey's foes, and you, forsooth, had the good Duke to keep. 'Tis like you would not feast him like a friend, and 'tis well seen he found an enemy. Queen. Then you, belike, suspect these noblemen as guilty of Duke Humphrey's timeless death. Warwick. Who finds the heifer dead and bleeding fresh, and sees fast by a butcher with an axe, but will suspect 'twas he that made the slaughter? Who finds the partridge in the pudic's nest but may imagine how the bird was dead, although the kite soar with unbloodied beak? Even so suspicious is this tragedy. Queen. Are you the butcher, Suffolk? Where's your knife? Is Beaufort termed a kite? Where are his talons? Suffolk. I wear no knife to slaughter sleeping men, but here's a vengeful sword, rusted with ease, that shall be scoured in his rancorous heart that slanders me with murder's crimson badge. Say if thou darest, proud lord of Warwickshire, that I am faulty in Duke Humphrey's death. Excellent Cardinal, Somerset, and others Warwick. What dares not Warwick, if false Suffolk dare him? Queen. He dares not calm his contumelious spirit, nor cease to be an arrogant controller, though Suffolk dare him 20,000 times. Warwick. Madam, be still with reverence, may I say, for every word you speak in his behalf is slander to your royal dignity. Suffolk. Blunt-witted lord, ignoble in demeanor, if ever lady wronged her lord so much, thy mother took into her blameful bed some stern untuttered churl, and noble stock was graft with Crabtree slip, whose fruit thou art, and never of the Nevilles' noble race. Warwick. But that the guilt of murder bucklers thee, and I should rob the death's man of his fee, quitting thee thereby of 10,000 shames, and that my sovereign's presence makes me mild, I would, false murderous coward, on thy knee make thee beg pardon for thy past speech, and say it was thy mother that thou meant'st, that thou thyself was born in bastardy, and, after all this fearful homage done, give thee thy hire and send thy soul to hell. Pernicious bloodsucker of sleeping men. Suffolk. Thou shalt be waking while I shed thy blood, if from this presence thou darest go with me. Warwick. Away even now, or I will drag thee hence. Unworthy though thou art, I'll cope with thee, and do some service to Duke Humphrey's ghost. Excellent Suffolk and Warwick King Henry. What stronger breastplate than a heart untainted? Thrice is he armed that hath his quarrel just, and he but naked, though locked up in steel, whose conscience with injustice is corrupted. A noise within, Queen. What noise is this? Re-enter Suffolk and Warwick, with their weapons drawn. King. Why, how now, lords, your wrathful weapons drawn here in our presence? Dare you be so bold? Why, what tumultuous clamour have we here? Suffolk. The traitorous Warwick, with the men of Berry, set all upon me, mighty sovereign. Re-enter Salisbury. Salisbury. To the commons within, sirs, stand apart, the king shall know your mind. Dread lord, the commons send you word by me, unless Lord Suffolk straight be done to death, or banished fair England's territories, they will by violence tear him from your palace and torture him with grievous lingering death. They say by him the good Duke Humphrey died, they say in him they fear your highness' death, and mere instinct of love and loyalty, free from a stubborn opposite intent, as being thought to contradict your liking, makes them thus forward in his banishment. They say, in care of your most royal person, that if your highness should intend to sleep and charge that no man should disturb your rest, in pain of your dislike or pain of death, yet, notwithstanding such a strait edict, were there a serpent seen with forked tongue that slyly glided towards your majesty, it were but necessary you were whacked, lest, being suffered in that harmful slumber, the mortal worm might make the sleep eternal. And therefore do they cry, though you forbid, that they will guard you, cheer you will or no, from such fell serpents as false Suffolk is, with whose envenomed and fatal sting your loving uncle, 20 times his worth, they say, is shamefully bereft of life. Commons. Within, an answer from the King, my Lord of Salisbury. Suffolk. 'Tis like the Commons, rude unpolished hinds, could send such mess. Age to their sovereign, but you, my lord, were glad to be employed, to show how quaint an orator you are. But all the honor Salisbury hath won is that he was the Lord Ambassador sent from a sort of tinkers to the King. Commons. Within, an answer from the King, or we will all break in. King Henry. Go, Salisbury, and tell them all from me I thank them for their tender love and care, and had I not been cited so by them, yet did I purpose as they do entreat. For sure my thoughts do hourly prophesy mischance unto my state by Suffolk's means. And therefore by his majesty I swear, whose far unworthy deputy I am, he shall not breathe infection in this air but 3 days longer, on the pain of death. Exit Salisbury Queen. O Henry, let me plead for gentle Suffolk. King Henry. Ungentle Queen, to call him gentle Suffolk. No more, I say. If thou dost plead for him, thou wilt but add increase unto my wrath. Had I but said I would have kept my word, but when I swear, it is irrevocable. If after 3 days' space thou here be'st found on any ground that I am ruler of, the world shall not be ransom for thy life. Come, Warwick, come, good Warwick, go with me. I have great matters to impart to thee. Extant all but Queen and Suffolk Queen. Mischance and sorrow go along with you. Heart's discontent and sour affliction be playfellows to keep you company. There's 2 of you, the devil make a third, and threefold vengeance tend upon your steps. Suffolk. Cease, gentle Queen, these execrations, and let thy Suffolk take his heavy leave. Queen. Fie, coward woman and soft-hearted wretch, hast thou not spirit to curse thine enemy? Suffolk. A plague upon them! Wherefore should I curse them? Would curses kill as doth the mandrakes groan, I would invent as bitter searching terms, as cursed, as harsh, and horrible to hear, delivered strongly through my fixed teeth, with full as many signs of deadly hate, as Lena faced envy in her loathsome cave. My tongue should stumble in mine earnest words, mine eyes should sparkle like the beaten flint, mine hair be fixed and end, as one distract. Aye, every joint should seem to curse and ban, and even now my burdened heart would break, should I not curse them. Poison be their drink. Gall, worse than gall, the daintiest that they taste. Their sweetest shade a grove of cypress trees. Their chiefest prospect murdering basilisks. Their softest touch as smart as lizard stings. Their music frightful as the serpent's hiss, and boding screech owls make the consort full. All the foul terrors in dark-seated hell Queen. Enough, sweet Suffolk, thou torment'st thyself, and these dread curses, like the sun gains glass, or like an overcharged gun, recoil, and turns the force of them upon thyself. Suffolk. You bade me ban, and will you bid me leave? Now, by the ground that I am banished from, well could I curse away a winter's night, though standing naked on a mountain top where biting cold would never let grass grow, and think it but a minute spent in sport. Queen. Oh, let me entreat thee cease. Give me thy hand, that I may do it with my mournful tears, nor let the rain of heaven wet this place to wash away my woeful monuments. Oh, could this kiss be printed in thy hand, that thou mightst think upon these by the seal, through whom 1,000 sighs are breath for thee. So get thee gone, that I may know my grief. 'Tis but sermest whiles thou art standing by, as one that surfeits thinking on a want. I will repeal thee, or, be well assured, adventure to be banished myself, and banished I am, if but from thee. Go, speak not to me, even now be gone. Oh, go not yet! Even thus two friends condemned embrace, and kiss, and take 10,000 leaves, loather 100 times to part than die. Yet now farewell, and farewell life with thee. Suffolk. Thus is poor Suffolk 10 times banished, once by the king and 3 times thrice by thee. 'Tis not the land I care for, wert thou thence. A wilderness is populous enough, so Suffolk had thy heavenly company. For where thou art, there is the world itself, with every several pleasure in the world, and where thou art not, desolation. I can no more, live thou to joy thy life, myself no joy in aught but that thou livest. Enter Vox Queen. Whither goes Vox so fast? What news, I prithee? Vox. To signify unto his majesty that Cardinal Beaufort is at point of death, for suddenly a grievous sickness took him that makes him gasp, and stare, and catch the air, blaspheming God, and cursing men on earth. Sometime he talks as if Duke Humphrey's ghost were by his side, sometime he calls the king and whispers to his pillow, as to him, the secrets of his overcharged soul, and I am sent to tell his majesty that even now he cries aloud for him. Queen. Go tell this heavy message to the king. Exit vuxime. What is this world? What news are these? But wherefore grieve I at an hour's poor loss, omitting Suffolk's exile, my soul's treasure? Why only, Suffolk, mourn I not for thee, and with the soul the are in clouds contend in tears theirs for the earth's increase, mine for my sorrows? Now get thee hence, the king, thou know'st, is coming, if thou be found by me, thou art but dead. Suffolk. If I depart from thee I cannot live, and in thy sight to die, what were it else but like a pleasant slumber in thy lap? Here could I breathe my soul into the air, as mild and gentle as the cradle babe dying with mother's dug between its lips, where, from thy sight, I should be raging mad and cry out for thee to close up mine eyes, to have thee with thy lips to stop my mouth, so shouldst thou either turn my flying soul, or I should breathe it so into thy body, and then it lived in sweet Elysium. To die by thee were but to die in jest, from thee to die were torture more than death. Oh, let me stay, befall what may befall. Queen. Away! Though parting be a fretful corrosive, it is applied to a deathful wound. To France, sweet Suffolk. Let me hear from thee, for wheresoe'er thou art in this world's globe I'll have an iris that shall find thee out. Suffolk. I go. Queen. And take my heart with thee. She kisses him, Suffolk. A jewel, locked into the woefulst cask that ever did contain a thing of worth. Even as a split bark, so sunder we, this way fall I to death. Queen. This way for me. Exeunt severally Scene 3. London. Cardinal Beaufort's bedchamber enter the King, Salisbury, and Warwick, to the Cardinal in bed King Henry. How fares my lord? Speak, Beaufort, to thy sovereign. Cardinal. If thou be'st death I'll give thee England's treasure, enough to purchase such another island, so thou wilt let me live and feel no pain. King Henry. Ah, what a sign it is of evil life where death's approach is seen so terrible. Warwick. Beaufort, it is thy sovereign speaks to thee. Cardinal. Bring me unto my trial when you will. Died he not in his bed? Where should he die? Can I make men live, which they will or no? Oh, torture me no more. I will confess. Alive again? Then show me where he is. I'll give £1,000 to look upon him. He hath no eyes, the dust hath blinded them. Comb down his hair, look, look! It stands upright, like lime twigs set to catch my winged soul. Give me some drink, and bid the apothecary bring the strong poison that I bought of him. King Henry. O thou eternal mover of the heavens, look with a gentle eye upon this wretch. Oh, beat away the busy meddling fiend that lays strong siege unto this wretch's soul, and from his bosom purge this black despair. Warwick. See how the pangs of death do make him grin. Salisbury. Disturb him not, let him pass peaceably. King Henry. Peace to his soul, if God's good pleasure be. Lord Cardinal, If thou think'st on heaven's bliss, hold up thy hand, make signal of thy hope. He dies, and makes no sign, O God, forgive him. Warwick. So bad a death argues a monstrous life. King Henry. Forbear to judge, for we are sinners all. Close up his eyes, and draw the curtain close, and let us all to meditation. Exeunt.